And last but not least, let's talk about season 4 of The Boys, right? And it's so interesting that we talk about The Boys because, yeah, when we talk about season 3, yeah, Ashton was there to talk about it, right? So he's here again to talk about this, right? So, just to get it out of the way, there's a lot of stuff to talk about with this, though, and I know we wouldn't be able to cover everything, though, but there's so much that goes on with it, right? That's all the gate, like just from the trailer that we got and just from the early sort of scuttlebutt about it, right? We were promised that this is going to be a more politically centered season, right? But for me, that didn't worry me. That didn't really concern me at all, right? I just wanted to see more of the blend of smart satire with really crass humor, right? That this show has been delivering us for 3 seasons now, right? And for me, I have been thoroughly enjoying this series, right? I can't say that there was a particular season that disappointed me, right? And thank God I could say the same thing about this one here, right? Because I thought that this season, for what it was kind of excellent, in my opinion, right?
Right.
And it's just what they were able to do, right? So I'm not gonna give like a full synopsis of it, right? But what it really centers on is just this upcoming presidential election, right? So yes, the timing of this show's release is kind of coincidental, but not coincidental at the same time, right? Yeah, it centers on Victoria Newman, who is going up for presidency, right? And the whole idea is that she has sided, or I should say, Homelander and the vote itself, like vote industries, have sided along with her, right? Because they just want to push this her running mate now, Robert Singer. Is Robert Singer?
She's your running mate. She's the vice president.
Oh, right. Yeah, she's the running mate. Sorry about that, right? Yeah, they kind of want to get rid of Robert Singer at the moment, right? Because he has Singer, right? Yeah, he has certain political views that they really fancy at all, right? So very reminiscent of the times we live in right now, right? At the same time, we're still dealing with Butcher's scenario where he took some V in the last season, and now that really affected him, like really life-threatening him. We see that, we saw hints of it in the last season, right? Where he has been acquiring some powers, but like early on, like when the season begins, we're not really sure what that power is. And then, well, yes, you actually see what the power is, right? Nothing spectacular, but when you see it happen, it was like, oh shit, that's what it is, right?
That's kind of wild. Yeah, it's a little wild.
It was kind of wild, right? Huey is still there, but he has drama because he dealing with his father, who's played by Simon Pegg, who had a stroke.
I'll get into something. I had an issue with Huey, but although I'll say it's not that big of a deal, but I'll get into something about that. Right. With Huey and Starlight, we'll talk about it.
Right. Yeah. So he still has a relationship with Starlight, but she is no longer going by Starlight. She wants to go by her government name. And in January. Right. So she's part of this whole Starlighters group, which is just anti-Homelander, right? It's all about trying to take him down because he's still being accused of all these things, and we see how that plays out, right? Marvin, aka Mother's Milk, he trying to keep the boys, like the team of the boys, together.
Right, yeah, he's now the new leader.
Yeah, right. He's the new leader because Butcher just on shit, you know what I mean? Because he just making just these really bad calls, but it's with good intentions. Because the idea is that he want to save Ryan, right? That's the child of the one that he was raising, but now it's actually Homelander's child, right? Also we have Miguel, Kimiko. She's going through some drama as well, just some stuff involving her past and just this supposed this child soldier group that she was in the past and whatnot. Frenchie going through some drama where the violent past is resurfacing now when he runs into the son was just the survivor of this attack that he did, basically wiping out this particular family back in the days. But their son actually is alive now and he starts a relationship with him, but then that sort of blows up because he learns about his past, right? And there's all this drama with all our favorite characters just going through a bunch of shenanigans, while the election day, which ironically is January 6th. When I hear that, I was like, all right, Eric, all right, Eric, all right.
No, well, it's not January 6th. It's not January 6th. It's the same event like how January 6th is. So they're shoring up the election pass.
Okay, right. My bad.
It's the same thing. It's not like they're referencing. No, not election day. It's the same set of events where you're showing up the vote. I forget where it is. Like what happened in the States with that? That was the day they were showing up the vote to finalize the victory.
Okay. Well, forgive us, folks, and I'll jump into my thoughts on it quickly, right? Yeah, we are not versed in all thing American politics, right? But we knew what we were expecting going into this, right? So early on, while the show is going on, because some critics who lucky motherfuckers, get to see the full season, and they were saying that, it's the darkest, and it's the most polarizing and most divisive, and blah 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 blah, right? I absolutely enjoyed this one, right? And I felt that it balanced the political stuff very well. At some points it was on the nose though, but I like that it was not overbearing. It was not an entirely politically driven season, even though it was, right? But it wasn't just about that, right? As usual, I love how everybody, all our main characters and side characters getting moments to shine, whether it's, A-Train or the Deep or whatever, everybody get a moment to shine. Everybody have a part to play. Everybody have a role, right? The standout for me is your girl, what's her name, boy? Sister Sage, right? The smartest woman, smartest person, on planet Earth. Yeah, she's the MVP of this whole show, Dread, you know what I mean?
Right.
I like that she is playing the whole, I have a master plan, but it's not like, I just gonna plan. Right, she have a plan, yes, right? But I like that she's smart enough to say, of course it's not gonna play out exactly the way how I want it, because people will come and do their things and make their mistakes and drop the ball and whatnot, right? But I just gonna maneuver around that. I just gonna make my little plays here or there, step away, come back, and then ultimately when things reach a certain point, then I make my final move and be like, yep, that's my plan. And it works, right? I like what she did, right? And yeah, basically it's about getting Homelander to the forefront now to be, basically alongside the president. That's all you'll see at this moment, right? And it absolutely works, right? I think that performance-wise, what's her name, boy? Susan Hayward, she killed it though. I love her cynicism in it as well. I like how she's aware of everything and whatnot and how she moves around it. But also love that she have a weakness, right? And you see where it is and it makes sense. It's really, really messed up, but like it makes for some really just unexpected humor, right? But it works, right? But yeah, again, where they just took the characters worked for me, especially Butcher though. Like this is like the most vulnerable I've seen Butcher in a while, boy. But yes, he is that same crass guy who says the C word. He's like the only, he's like one of the few people who always says the C word. He always say oi, you know what I mean? He's that guy. He is that guy. Every episode he says the C word, he says fuck, and he says oi, right? You get that from him, right? When they took Huey, I don't mind for the most part. Like for me, just one gripe, I felt they could have given him a little bit more to do instead of just him. He kind of goes back to being the reactionary character, even though I know that's what he is, right? And yes, there's a moment where he gets he goes on a mission and it's you could tell how emotionally scarred he was.
I'll address that.
Wow.
I will address that given how it was reacted to. I had some issues with that, but we'll talk about
how they explore Starlight. Annie January post Starlight. I really liked. I like how they paired her alongside Firecracker, which is one of the new members of the Seven. I really dug that as well. And, just how they explore other characters, whether it's Mother's Milk, Frenchie, Kimiko, and stuff like that, worked for me, right? I like Neo Black Noir, that's all I'll call him, the new Black Noir. If you remember, Homelander killed the last Black Noir in the finale, right? Yeah, how they play with that was really cool as well. And, of course, Homelander just being, everybody's favorite, villain, the villain that you love to hate, but he is
well, he was, this season he was incredibly out of pocket.
Yeah, boy. Just when you think, just when you think you find just enough reasons to hate this man, the show just finds more and more and more ways to be like, oh, you sure you hate him? You sure you love to hate him? Wait. We have an episode fair. We'll drop episode 5 on your ass. Yeah, that episode 5 way. Yes, what they do with him is like, all right. I hate you a little bit more, but I understand a lot more why you are the way you are.
Given the situation, yeah, I get it, but holy shit, dude, like really, boy.
I know, boy. And speaking of that, though, because it could have gone on The Walking Dead season 7, episode 1 route, where it's just this one big torture fest, but thank God it wasn't that. And speaking of that, yeah, Jeffrey Dean Morgan is in it as well. Right. You are nice twist with it. But what happened though, admittedly,
I actually really like it a lot. Because I don't know him from the comic. Like, I don't remember his character from the comic. Yeah.
Right.
So I don't know.
Right. Admittedly, I was like, oh gosh, I can't believe they do that to me. Like how they pull the wool over my eyes like that. Sure. Like how you could do me that, boys? Like, oh gosh, man, like all they could do with this. But it works. It works in terms of what they've set up. And I mean, I could talk on and on, right? But yeah, I felt for the most part, yeah, just how they handle everything was just near perfect in my opinion. I don't know how the showrunners do it, but it's just how they juggle all these things together, and they still keep it fresh. They still make it irreverent. They still make it dark. They still make it unpredictable. And this is one thing I love about the show and the season here, right? Yeah, just when you think you know what's coming, boy, they'll do something and catch you off guard. Right? And literally every episode just kept doing that, right? Like you think, oh, that one episode top, like really push your buttons. We're gonna drop our next episode on your ass, boom, and like that, right? That being said, I can imagine, and I already know some people don't like the season because of how it alludes to what's going on right now with what was, at the time of us recording this, Trump versus, Biden, right? Now it's Trump and maybe Kamala. We don't know. We don't know, right? It's just so ironic that the final episode drops a few days ago and then, Biden leaves, right? Steps out of the game, right? It's so baffling to me, right? But I don't know much about Eric Kripke though, but he did say, look, this comic was always political. It was always like that, right?
Exactly.
Yes, we are touching on right-wing and left-wing politics. We do that. And not just in terms of politics, but also religion and hero worship and celebrity worship. Right. That's what it always has been. Yeah.
Yeah, they evolved the material better than what the comic was. Like the comic was all that great. I get what the comic was at the time, but like it was just frankly, that's kind of boring and lazy. It was just, hey, homage or allusion to this character, and then make them a perfect. That's basically it. That's how I was interpreted. So yeah.
Yeah, well, that's the last point I want to make, and then I want to get to Ashton because he hasn't said anything, and then we'll get to you. So yeah, I can understand people, feeling iffy about it, like, oh, wait, what are you trying to say? Like, you're really trying to tell me Trump bad? You know what I mean? Like, if you're a Trump supporter, listen. Eric's and the people behind the scenes, the people who work on the show, whatever their views are their views. But I like that they didn't bring that to the show itself. Yes, it does lean with it towards an anti-Trump kind of vibe, especially that final episode. But I don't think the show or the season is meant to tell Americans, this is who you should vote for, and this is who you shouldn't. No. It's telling the story. It's taking the whole Superman mythos and framing it. It's the truth, justice, in the American way, right? But really stressing on the American way aspect of this of that idiom. That's really what this season is about, right? So it didn't trigger me. It didn't really make me feel off, like, oh, like what are you trying to say about politics, and what are you trying to say? Oh, civil war and all that. No, it's not like that, right? I didn't see it that way. But then again, I'm a trade addict, right? So it is what it is, right? But yeah, I absolutely enjoy the season here, and where they stop things off by, I am excited as all hell for season 5. And wow, if where they stop it off is like, yeah, clearly this next season is going to be the last, because Eric announced it early on. For season 5 is going to be the last one. So boy, I am excited as all hell to see what happens next, seeing how this one ends, right? But yeah, Ashton, if you're there, yeah, your thoughts, quick thoughts, spoiler-free thoughts on this new season here.
Yes, spoiler-free, you see?
Yeah, spoiler-free.
Right, cool.
Okay, spoiler-free. This show is what you can do when you take a property and manage it properly. That's what this show is, right? It's not like Halo, which if Halo wasn't named Halo and it was named Space Alien Warfare happening out there, everybody would have watched it and enjoyed
after
it,
2
right?
seasons.
But calling it Halo is what ruined it, right? If they never called that show Halo, it might have had a chance,
right?
Now the boys, as Ricardo was saying, very different from the book, very, very different. In fact, Frenchie is as strong and as maniacal as Kimoko is in the book. but you don't really get that in the show. You get him as a more pensive person that is a key, like he's like the scientist fixer in the crew. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like he's the go-to like tech guy and not a spy guy, but in the book he was the enforcer, which is kind of crazy, right? Changing up the storyline was, in my opinion, good because I don't think a lot of the stuff that was in the book were translated into the television. And it's interesting to see how they've changed the characters, but have not changed them, right? Because they've changed the characters to a certain degree, but it still feels like the original character, which is kind of nice. I don't know if I'm explaining that correct or if you guys understand exactly what I mean when I say that.
No, I get it.
All in all, yeah, this season of the boys, I think was good. I think they're doing their own thing. And they should just write it out until completion. I like the introduction of the Gen V characters into the show as well.
Yes. I like how they incorporate the Gen V elements.
The two villains, the two villains, because we saw them, and they show up in the end.
Timeline to work, you know. I guess the only thing I didn't like
they do a character reveal.
Is the ending.
You know, they do a character reveal and it's like, wait, boy, is a real like it's sad chance for them dead, Judd, because like they verified that character power now.
Yeah, boy.
You know what's so weird? You know what's the biggest change in the show? Soldier Boy is the biggest change in.
Right.
Because in the book, he's Homelander's special friend. Whenever Homelander feels for a special friend, it's not his dad. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So that was a big change for me, the Soldier Boy thing. But that was good too. The only thing I really didn't like was the end of this.
Okay.
I didn't like the end. But when I see the end, you know, when like the whole plan went to hell.
Okay.
All right, and that's me. I enjoyed it. Good show. Great things. I think that the next season will be even. Is there going to be a next season or is this a half a season and then the next half?
I don't know if that will be the format because, you know, it's the final season. So they might do that. They might make it longer but split it up, you know, kind of.
I'm ready. I'm ready for whatever they do. I'm ready because it can only go in a good way, in my opinion.
Agreed.
Right.
Yeah, so Ricardo, quick spoiler-free thoughts on this season.
So yeah, I have mixed feelings. I have a lot of mixed feelings about this because you know how I just feel about this? It feels like it is like somebody make a real good back scratcher, but now I don't have no itch. I think this is better than season 3, but I wasn't as hyped because like it done kind of scratch the itch, and I was like, all right, well, they just had to run the course of finishing the story. As it is, even though I still like this season a lot. So let me just get the bad out of the way first. So that's the sign that I actually like this overall, right? Here's the bad. I felt the stuff with Frenchie don't work at all. Like it was just, to me, just kind of running in place. It just feel like they just need to give Frenchie something to do. That is emotional stuff there, but it just didn't flow particularly well for me. I felt the same kind of goes to Kimiko, and then to get into my problems with Huey and what they do with his arc. So here's the problem. Yeah, they kind of frame Huey. Huey is sexually assaulted, well, twice or multiple times in this season, and they kind of play almost all of it like a joke. Now, this don't bother me super much, but here's the problem. It's in the context of Starlight, who her whole drive in the narrative was being sexually assaulted. So for her to be so kind of dismissive, and I felt that I was like, really, Starlight? I don't know. That doesn't connect to me particularly well. It's not a big deal, but like it was just notable given its Starlight's arc now, as it was. As I said, I think the main arc is okay. Like I like what they do with it. What they do with Victoria, shocking. Like wow, that's where they went with that. That's one of my favorite characters, I'm a Gil. But they play that out well.
Yo, she my Gil too, eh? Well, yo.
Yeah. But they make that work. I really, really like what they did with, surprisingly, what they did with out of all people, A-Train, right? Surprisingly decent redemption arc kind of thing they do. And it's like, all right, this is kind of interesting.
Yes.
I hated all. The other character I didn't like Deep. I thought he was terrible this season. Like, what they did with him, before what they used to do with him was funny. This time it was just like, neither here nor there, because it wasn't like super dark or mean-spirited. Not really, except for like a piece of the ending.
Yeah, it's almost like he just sort of regress into being an asshole, kind of. Yeah.
Right, but he just becomes, well, he's Homelander's boy, just kind of line up with Homelander, and that is it now. He's just Homelander kind of thing, and they leave it there. And I thought that fall flat for me. The stuff with I don't know where they're gonna go with the neo-noir character, but also that didn't really work for me. That was just kind of fall flat and not that interesting. It's like, all right, he's a jokey character, but what was the interesting arc here? And not going. That didn't work for me. They didn't resolve what was going on with Ashley. So what they're gonna reveal that in the premiere? I don't know what happened, because she take the V, and then we don't see what happens. I thought they would have a fight with her or something to resolve for, and we didn't get that. Whatever. The plan involving with Sister Stage, solid enough. I like it enough for what they did with it. She say she can take other things into account. Here's the thing with this character. They need to address her a little better, because I find it kind of weird that Homelanders, you want to go find her, and it's like, wait, why does that Vought leave you to be living by yourself? When you think about it, Sister Sage is by far the most dangerous person in the whole universe. Not Homelander, not all these other people. Sister Sage, right? And yet, Vought just like leave her because because apparently she was working. She used to be working with A-Train back in the days, and she was like part of their version of the Teen Titans. And then she decided to just disappear and not like just work on be living by herself in a corner somewhere. That don't make no sense. Like, you would think that, like, what do you call him? Victoria's father. Oh gosh, Edgar. Would I be like making sure she around, or you always watch her at all times? Because she is like incredibly dangerous when you think about it. Like, if you remember, was that Bradley Cooper movie back in the days with the smart pill?
Oh gosh, I know you're talking about by
God.
Endless something less. Limitless, yeah.
Plus, she's basically fucking limitless, Dread. Like, why would you keep her off your radar? You ought to be watching she constantly, Dread. Any move she make could be something. And yet, they just ignore her. Like, what? If it was up to she, either has she working for Vought constantly. Like, clearly the only other person smart enough to deal with her is Stan Edgar. Like, whatever gonna happen, it had to be Stan Edgar to fight back against she. That's the only person who could be off the grid, taking she on, and well, they sort out what happened with him. We see what happened to him, right? So, like, that had to be the fight, right? I like what's going on there. But yeah, I really like where they're going with it. They escalate the story in really smart ways. As I said, I really wish they handled Huey's situation better, especially with involving, the second character, and I thought this was a pretty cool character. I forget what her name was exactly, but the Morpher. Like, how the Morpher works is pretty interesting and clever.
Yes,
I thought that was
yeah.
And what they did with her and Annie January was pretty clever. The ending, yeah. So they reveal, I don't want to spoil it, but yeah, they reveal what happened to the ball woman. It's like she come back and like, fucking hell, dude.
Yeah.
When she show up, I'm like, holy shit. But when they reveal what she did, it's like, oh, it's a magnetic power. Like, I don't want to spoil too much, but it's like, wait, boy, no chance, Perdomo. So like, that would be the character now. So I don't know what they're doing. That real unfortunate, Dread. So it's that. But they do something with Starlight in the ending, and like, all right, that kind of hard. That wasn't so bad. But I really want to see where they go into it. As I said, I'm not as excited for the boys anymore, because it already kind of scratched the itch of the discourse about parody of commentary about superhero movies and the superhero genre and its application to politics. So I kind of, discourse-wise, not as interested in it, but I just want to see it wrap up. And then, well, to be fair, it kind of line up with, well, the MCU kind of coming back proper with the new Captain America trailer. So it's time to get back into superhero genre normal instead of the meta commentary stuff. I'm not sure. That's one of a feeling a how about it. But it is, I think it is, I do like this season more than 3. The ending kind of fall flat. Oh, well, I forgot to mention the last thing. Yeah, the heart of the story. Where they ultimately went with Butcher and
Ryan. Yeah.
Tragic. Super tragic. Like, real tragic, real dark. It made, to me, enough emotional, logical sense, for the most part. Like, you can say it kind of contrived a little bit, but where they went with it, I thought, yeah, boy, that rough Dread. And it's like, well, where Butcher gone, that Dread too. Like, all right, well, that makes sense. Cause somebody had it spoiled for me, what went on to it with Victoria, right? Somebody spoiled that for me. But I thought it played out in a different way. And then to have it play out that way, it's like, oh shit, that was the actual surprise. Oh, that's how they do it? Okay. Word. All right, this was hard. Yeah, my rating, I give it a high 8, right? A really high 8. I don't know. It just, I wasn't excited. I wasn't as excited for it because the meta commentary and the discourse nowhere near as interesting as it was as The Boys used to be for me. So, like, as I say, it already scratched the itch, but it's still a really good back scratcher. So I like it a lot, and look, I'm glad that they're wrapping up with the final season good. So yeah, I still get a good score, but I was not as much into it as it was. But it's still gonna get a good score. But I want to see how we're gonna resolve, wrap it up. Let me see what they're gonna do. Hit me with that final season.
Right. So I was just looking at this Discord chat, and well, Ashton, you say you find Ryan annoying, so you'll pretty much tell us why you find him annoying, and then you could get to your final thoughts.
Yeah, he's supposed to be annoying. Like, the whole point is that he's just gangly and just kind of a weirdo, but like, he's an annoying teenager. But it's like entire world.
But he going through a lot of shit, Dread. Like
Ryan needs to make up his mind, right? Ryan is fucking
that's the problem.
Right? He needs to make up his mind.
Yeah,
right?
the whole point
You
is
want to be in love with your mother, you want to be in love with Homelander, you want to be in love with Butcher.
Right.
You mean to tell me, as a big person with brain, after you see what Homelander do to the room for finding a picture, you still had to consider where you want to go after that?
Really?
He's an idiot.
True.
He's a dumbass.
True.
He's a dumb idiot. Right? And that's what I feel about Ryan is fucking annoying. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, Ashton, your region.
Right. I feel like this season was like a 7 for me. 7 out of 10. I really didn't like a lot of stuff that they was doing with Frenchie. So weird. Like, why did he go to jail? Just so dumb. Anyway, too much dumb stuff with Frenchie. Too much dumb stuff with Ryan. Too much politics for my liking. American politics kind of. Why I understand the need for it in the show is actually to highlight it for Americans to understand that, hey guys, relax a little bit or something. I don't know. I don't know what they're trying to do, but they're trying to show them how ridiculous it is be acting, I guess. But I'll give it a 7. But I feel like Boys to me wouldn't be able to be rated good until I see that last season. Because that last season has to have a lot of stuff happening for me to be like, all right, cool, Boys.
Well, just to segue now, well, just to get to my final thoughts of reading, right? Yeah, I am excited as all hell to see where how the show ends, right? But I really hope that with all the stuff that they get away with so far, I hope that they're still able to stick the landing. I do hope that at least it will end on a satisfactory note. It may not be the ending that I want or like how I imagine it, but I want it to end on a satisfactory note, right? But I was satisfied with this season, even though it's not perfect, right? So for me, I'm gonna give this a decent to strong 4 out of 5. This will definitely show up in my best stuff for the year, though, just because of how they was just able to keep the energy of the show, right? Even though they were going into this deep, dark political territory, right? Again, I can imagine some Americans like finding that to be like a downer, like, oh my god, you have to, like, this show literally have to remind us of what we have to deal with when we go to vote on November the 5th. Oh, you know what I mean? But look, that was always the nature of the show already. You know what I mean? That's the main idea of Homelander being this sort of Superman, like character, right? You could tell that it eventually would have led to that anyway, right? But for me it works, right? Even though they spin a lot of plates and there'll be one or two that kind of break ever so often. But I felt like for the most part they kept a majority of these plates spinning, man. And yeah, I was satisfied with what it is I saw in this, man. But again, I don't know what we're gonna get in this last season, but I do like that the show is wrapping up, because yeah, like you said, Ricardo, I don't know, I don't think the show could go. I think like the show kind of pretty much state where it is, it's about. So
yeah,
exactly. I don't think it could go
like, from a discourse standpoint, it run its course now.
Yeah,
there's no problem with it. So it's not like there's not a problem necessarily, but it's just I'm glad that next season is the last season. Like that is it. They have no more to talk about. It's just fight time.
Exactly. So it's not gonna wear itself out. Which is a great thing. It's not gonna do the Walking Dead thing, right? Where it's like, all right, well, we need to keep this thing going.
Thank you.
Because people love the show. Bullshit. Like no, like just end it and then we just move forward. We realize, right? So yeah, season 5 can't wait, but yeah, season 4 was a real deal. But if the political stuff, you know that'll be a turn off here, yeah, it's best to avoid it. But believe me when I say that's not entirely what this season was, and I'm happy for that, right?